right, folks, here's the big question of the hour. Should kids be read their Miranda rights before being questioned by the police? For the next 5 minutes, we'll discuss it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Robert Trainum. Joining me is Marsha Levick, co-founder and deputy director and chief counsel of the Juvenile Law Center. Ms. Levick, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So that's a big question. I mean, it's a huge question because I think a lot of people would ask themselves, do kids, do children, do young adults, however you want to phrase it, do they really understand, A, what Miranda rights are, and B, when they're in a stressful situation in terms of being in front of a police officer and so forth, do they really understand what's being read to them?
Well, that's why it's such an important question. Kids are different. You and I know that, parents know that, and the Supreme Court has recognized that kids are different. And the Supreme Court has now also held that for the purposes of when our kids are being interviewed by the police during police interrogation, that their age matters in terms of, number one, whether or not they're likely to feel that they're free to walk out of that closed police interrogation room, whether they're free to terminate the interrogation. And it's also relevant to whether or not they actually understand the consequences of giving statements to the police.
Does it matter the age of the child? For example, a 7-year-old child is different from perhaps maybe a 15 or 16-year-old child. One could make the argument that a teenager, 16 years old, understands a little bit more fully than opposed to a 7-year-old. Does it matter or no?
It doesn't matter for the purposes of the law. Unquestionably, 7-year-olds know less than 14-year-olds who know less perhaps than 18-year-olds. But the law recognizes, it draws a line. We draw lines at 18 every day. Kids under the age of 18 can't vote, they can't join the military, they can't do all sorts of things that you and I can do. And the Supreme Court has likewise recognized that we're going to draw the line at 18 and we're going to treat children under the age of 18 the same for the purposes of their status in the law.
So let me pose a hypothetical to you. Let's say hypothetically a child does an illegal act, is caught in that illegal act. How does uniformed individuals respond to that from a legal perspective?
If that individual, if it's obvious that this is a child, if it should be known to them that this is a child, they have to factor into their process of interrogating that child.
So hypothetically, a 7-year-old child is caught shoplifting at the local supermarket. How do you deal with that?
Well, what you would hope in that situation, because it's so obvious this is a young child, that the police would immediately call the child's parent or guardian. That's really what we want. We want parents or guardians involved. We want lawyers involved. We want to ensure that children understand the consequences of making statements and of giving up their rights.
All right, Marsha, why are we even talking about this? Why is the Supreme Court involved in this national conversation right now?
Well, the Supreme Court has been looking at the issues of children's rights under the law for many years and has been, for the last 5 or 7 years, really articulating very specific views of how children's status differs from adults under the Constitution. Juvenile Law Center has been involved in numerous cases before the Supreme Court in which we've had the opportunity to rely upon research and rely upon really a changing landscape that has, I think, appropriately taken account of age.
And we got about 1 minute and 20 seconds left for the moms and dads and the guardians out there that are watching this program. If, in fact, they either, A, God forbid, have a child that is involved in some type of illegal act, or perhaps they're just concerned about their child, what can you tell the folks at home that are watching the program, the parents and the guardians out there?
Well, what we always say is get the assistance of counsel, because even we as parents don't fully understand what the rights of our children are, what our own rights are, and what the consequences of things that we do vis-a-vis law enforcement or the courts. So seek the assistance of a lawyer and make sure your child is protected.
And how can the Juvenile Law Center help?
Juvenile Law Center is available to provide assistance and consultation. We have a website which has an enormous amount of information that is relevant both for individual states as well as national information. And
how did you get involved in this?
I was one of the co-founders of Juvenile Law Center 35 years ago, so I've been doing this work for a long time.
Wow. So 35 years in helping individuals and their parents out there deal with this very, very, very serious issue.
That's what we've been trying to do.
And in the last couple seconds that we have left, tell us specifically what you think the next step is for minors' rights in this regard.
Well, I think there are lots of things to look at, but one of the issues we're interested in is kids and technology.
Okay.
New technologies are raising new issues about how the law should treat children.
Thank you very much for all the good work that you do. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And, of course, thank you for joining us for this edition of Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Robert Trainum. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you next time. Take care.